Men nu har vi en breakout session och vi har då Sebastian Sandell med oss från Ubisecure. Så varsågod.
As mentioned, my name is Sebastian Sandell. I work as the technical product owner at Ubisecure. I've been working there now for 4.5 years. Ubisecure is a European IAM provider. We have staff in Finland, here in Sweden, in Belgium, and in the UK. Before I started at Ubisecure, I was working as a product owner at Solibri, which focuses on quality assurance of 3D models in the construction industry. And before that, I was about 10 years working at PUF in different development and product management positions. My talk today will focus on these 3 bullets. As we heard earlier today by Neil, passkeys are on the rise, they're coming, and that is a great thing to get rid of all of these different passwords that we try to remember or then forget and need to reset over and over again. And this is kind of now also possible to be adopted, as around 99% of our devices that we have in our pockets actually support the passkeys and the web authn. Show of hands here today, how many of you have actually enabled the passkeys in the services that currently provide it? All right, so 5% with the people working within this industry, so there's still a bit of barrier to actually start using these. But since we're not using these yet, how do we actually secure our current accounts using the email and password? And when we get to the passkeys, do we actually need MFA at that point? I'll argue that there are certain use cases we still might want to have that. But what does actually secure your current accounts mean? This all depends on what kind of company policies that you have in place. Every company has their own policies on. In this example, I'll take these 2 attributes, for example, password and MFA. Companies have different lengths of the password that they require. They have different complexities. Do you need to have lowercase, uppercase? Do you have special characters? Do you need to have numbers in the password? Is the password checked when you update your password? Is it checked against the previous passwords that you've been using? Is that allowed? And when you update, is it checked against any breached password databases? From the MFA point of view, does your company require that you enable MFA on your account, or is it optional, or does the company supply any kind of possibilities to do so? In 2019, Google security researchers found that just by enabling SMS OTP, they were able to block 100% of the automated bots, 96% of the phishing attacks, and 76% of the targeted attacks. When they enabled TOTP, those numbers went up from 96 to 99 and from 76 to 90. IBM also came out and stated in their Cybersecurity Intelligence Report 2021 that human errors was a major contributing cause in 95% of all the breaches that they looked into. So phishing attacks are still a major concern when it comes to compromised accounts. Taking this into consideration, I would argue that the company policies should make sure that we can actually provide good security for our users. But it doesn't help if we have good security policies. How do we enforce these policies on a business-to-business environment where we might have partners and their partners and other subcontractors that they hire in to access our systems? I'll go through one example here today with 3 different user groups. We have the internal users of our company, we have registered federated users, And then we have something that I call unregistered federated users. And these might have different options of how they use the MFA, depending on what kind of information we have about those users. So if we start with the example of a company that got a project, let's take in this case Skanska. They get a project of building a new hospital. The CISO of the company states that any user that accesses this information about the project needs to use two-factor authentication before they get access. From the internal user's point of view, that's quite easy. We have them in our system. They access using their email and password or username and password. And when they authenticate, they get prompted on selecting one of the two-factor authentication methods that are provided. We probably have their mobile phone number in the system. We definitely have their email. And they might have enrolled into TOTP. So the user can then select one of these and authenticate and get access to the specific application. Well, Skanska also has a couple of partners that they work with and quite tight relationship with. We'll take, for example, Sweco. These work together at a quite regular basis, so they have decided that they're going to have registered federated users from them. So they have some kind of information in their system, but they'll allow them to use their IDPs or their used IDPs to access the application. For example, to upload the latest versions of the architectural designs. So when a user from Sweco tries to access the application, they first enter their email. The system could then check that what kind of domain is this user coming from and provide the specific methods that they can choose from to authenticate. If they, for example, would select the SAML Microsoft 365, they get redirected to their Microsoft authentication, and they can enter their email and password. And depending on what kind of policies they have in place, they might or might not require MFA on their user account. And when they get authenticated in their system and redirected back to our system, we again prompt them to select one of the possible OTP methods. In this case, as they are a registered user and have some kind of information in our system, it might be that they have enrolled into TOTP and could use that. Otherwise, we might provide the different options of SMS OTP if the mobile phone is returned in the claims coming back. Or at least we have the SMTP OTP option to send an email to them and with the code that they enter. And this provides access to the specific application. The third user group, unregistered federated users. This might be the subcontractors or partners of Sweco, for example, if they want to have quality assurance of the architectural drawings that they provide to Skanska. They might hire some consultants that come in once a month, once every quarter to verify that they are okay and appropriate. In this case, in the Skanska system, there is no information currently about the users that are part of these subcontractors. So when they try to access the application and they enter their email, they're prompted with a different set of methods that they could choose from. In this case, the user might select the OpenID Connect integration to Google. And again, as we get further and further away from knowing what kind of policies they have in place, they might use the username, password, email, password. They might have MFA in place. They might even use passkeys if they've enabled that. That we don't really know when they get back and are again prompted to select an OTP method to verify that they have used two-factor authentication to get access to the application. In this case, as previously, it depends on what is returned in the claims. It might be that they return some kind of mobile phone, and then they could use the SMS OTP as an option. Or at least they have the SMTP OTP method available as they use their email to kind of get the different methods available to select from. As a summary of this, I say the passkeys are on the rise, and this is a great thing. We want to get rid of all the different passwords we need to remember, renew, forget, and again renew. And we'll probably hear more about this throughout today. I say that there are ways to currently secure the user accounts that use passwords. We just need to make sure that our company policies follow a good practice when it comes to security. And I think I'll try to show here that there might be still use cases for MFA even when we have moved over to using passkeys, as when you get further and further away from your trusted partners, you don't really have any visibility in their policies. And I'd argue that there is still reason to depend on MFA for your most important applications. Thank you for listening, and please come by our stand and discuss more about this.